Hey, this is Stephen A. Williams, president and founder of the creditrepairshop.com. It has been very busy, and I'm going to be talking about debt collector lawsuits. I'm going to tell you about some research that I've been doing that the states or whoever is in charge of kind of trying to make it a little bit easier for people to respond to debt collector lawsuits to make some changes in the law that will allow people to be able to fight these debt collector lawsuits a lot easier than the way that it's set up right now. I've also seen that in some states that they've made it even more difficult to fight a debt collector lawsuit by having people have to file it and pay a fee to actually file their response to a debt collector lawsuit. So let's just look at it. If you are already in trouble financially with dealing with a debt collector, and then you get sued by that debt collector, and you have to pay a fee to respond to that debt collector because of the way that your court system has it, for the way that they want documents uploaded and for you to be able to follow the protocols that are in place for your area to respond to a debt collector court summons. Now, in most states, I've seen where if you walk it down there, and just about every state, you could still walk it down there, but they are trying to encourage people to use it to be able to upload it onto a website. This is just, this is the world that we live in. I agree that we should make it easier by being able to upload it to a website, but I do not agree that there should be a fee attached to that. That is, putting a burden on the individual that is being sued. They already have a burden of, if they have to get someone to represent them, if they don't feel comfortable, and then they're already under the stress of having the debt over their head right now. Like, I'm pretty sure. I'm just of the mindset that you that are watching this video and you find yourself being sued by a debt collector, that you, at the time that you had that debt, that you were trying your best to pay that debt. I have rarely ran into people who never intended to pay their debt. Now, I'm not going to be one of these, say that I haven't ran into anyone. There have been people that have came to me and they said that I had no intention of paying the debt. You watching my videos, you know what I told those individuals to do. I told them to go pick another company because I just believe, and maybe it's just me being naive, I think that every one of you who are watching this video because you have a debt collector lawsuit coming at you, or you've dealt with one and you have a default judgment, and I'm going to talk about some things that you can do to open those cases back up and potentially win. But I believe that every one of you were trying to pay your debt and then you just ran into hard times. Just like what happened to me in the 90s, paying debt, not educated about money, not educated about what to do with money, and I ended up overspending. Had to pay the small payments, ended up being large payments when you added it all up, and my wife and I found ourselves $300,000 in debt, and it took us 5 years to get out of that situation. And yes, in between all of those months and weeks and months and years of that 5 years, I wanted to quit. Didn't want to. It was just hard. I guess that's the best way for me to put it. It was hard, but my wife and I kept our number one. We kept our marriage at the forefront because most marriages are gonna end up dissolving when they shouldn't have, solely over finances. We saw that if we don't get ourselves together, our act together, we are going to pass down to 3 daughters bad financial, bad financial habits, which were passed down to us by our parents on accident. So now that we knew better, we took the responsibility on what we needed to do. And it took 5 years. And there's not too many people that would put in the work for 5 full solid years. But from me doing that, and the strain and the stresses and the not being sure, not knowing how it's going to work out, learning on the way, helped me be able to build the credit repair shop. Because what I felt at that time, I talked to you about on these videos about how I felt. Talked about how now my wife and I, we're going on 35 years of being together, when it could have ended in the 90s over money. Kids are grown, grandkids, all of that. But see, you can't see that when you're going through this type of mess. You can't see that. And the easiest thing for you to do is to just quit. That's the easiest thing for you to do. The hard thing for you to do is to keep moving forward and not be so much into having to know exactly how the good that is going to happen to you is going to happen. That's my lesson for you on that part, is that dealing with debt, part of it with dealing with debt, part of dealing with a lot of stuff in our lives is probably 80% of it is your mindset. If you get your mindset right, the rest of it is technical. It will start to work out. And stuff that is technical doesn't look right if your mindset is not right. But if your mindset is right, the technical stuff starts to look right, because you say that there's a process. Most of the time that people don't allow a process to happen is because their mindset isn't right. It's scrambled, can't sleep, fighting with your spouse, fighting with your own self, with what you want to do and what you don't want to do. And then whenever any process is put in front of you, you can't even recognize that it could benefit you because your mindset is not right. And you know that I'm right with this because think of something that you've told someone else to do that you know worked for you, and you, for some reason, they won't accept it. And the reason why they won't accept it is because their mindset is not right. So you know what I'm telling you is true. So now, what I've done is I've done some more research, and this whole week, I haven't even been able to make videos this week because this whole week we've been just buried in people sending us their lawsuits, debt collector lawsuits, original creditor lawsuits, default judgments. People need settlements because they need to be able to move forward in their life. We inundated. And so when that happens, I'm not going to be able to get on here and make as many videos as possible. But I'm going to make time for it. I'm here early in the morning because I wanted to make sure I talk to you. What the courts are trying to do is they're trying to simplify the way that people are allowed to respond. Now, I don't know. Maybe it's from the responses that we've made for people. If you go to companies like Solo Suite and all of these other different places where they tell you to make these responses, and it's deny, 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 deny. And then what's going to happen when you are confronted with documents from the debt collector about what you have done in the past with that original creditor? So think about it. Picture this. You have your court response that you've given them, and you just denied everything. Deny, 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 deny. It's like like a guy that's cheated on his girlfriend, and he denied, and then there's some Instagram pictures, or the other woman put some pictures on there, and then what do you say then? Do you come up with another story? Those other services are making people get into that situation. I don't like my clients to get into that situation. And to back that up, the National Conference of State Legislators what they have said is that we need to simplify and allow people to express themselves when they're responding to these lawsuits. You are not expected to be a lawyer. No one who is not a lawyer is expected to be responding to a court summons the way that a lawyer would respond to a court summons. And so the way that I've done it, which was the way that it worked for me, is you need to put this in plain English, so when the judge looks at it, they have not just deny. It's, I want you to look at these things, Your Honor. These are the problems with this third-party debt collector buying my old debt from the original creditor. If the Supreme Court says that if a debt collector buys the debt and they're not collecting it for other companies, that's the way that the Supreme Court states it, they assume everything about that debt. If they buy it and they're collecting on that debt, they assume everything like they're the original creditor. So if you were to walk up to the original creditor and you said, give me this list of things like the original contract with my signature, let me know if you filed a 1099-C. Give me a full accounting of historical accounting of the entire account. Give me the complete account. You could even tell them to give you the application that you filled out to make sure that was done appropriately. And the original creditor would have all of those documents. But if you deny, and then they confront you with the documents, what do you do next? If you confront them with what your affirmative defense is up front, what do you think that they're going to do? Well, from the results that we've been able to get for our clients, and you can go to our website, they dismiss those cases because they know that if they come to the court and they don't have those documents, the judge is going to say this case is dismissed. And what is it dismissed on? Well, it's dismissed because you didn't provide the documents in this response to build your case. But if you deny, which is what all of these other services are telling you to do, what do you think is going to happen? You're going to get a judgment placed against you. So now, if you have a judgment that is placed against you because you denied, or even if you got in front of a judge and that judge, for some reason, did not listen to the reasoning that you had behind your argument that on why they should not have given them a judgment in the case, you can get that reopened. You have time to get that reopened. We have done this successfully for a lot of clients who have came to us and they got default judgments against them. And some of them have gotten judgments against them where for some reason, the judge just did not see it the way that they presented it to them, or something was said, or we don't know. But we reviewed those cases, those decisions, and we were able to counter those decisions and people who have had lawsuits against them that they had a judgment. The judgment was put in and it was reversed based off of the argument that we were able to get them to present in court. We just recently had one. Gentleman had over $7,000. I hope you're watching this video, and if you are watching it, please put your testimonial on here. And also, I want to say just real quick, you win your case, don't be greedy. When you win your case, don't be greedy. Give us those testimonials, because people need to your testimonial. When people see your testimonial. And we didn't normally ask people to do this. We have them on our website, but we didn't normally ask people to do this. Put your testimonial on there, because the testimonial will help people believe that they can do it. It's not always about us saying that we've done it. Sometimes, some of the times, by you just saying that it was something that is possible. Now, everybody, I don't put so much into testimonials and reviews as other people do, because everybody's situation is different, and we all know that, because you know that because you've given people, family, friends, information on stuff that has worked for you, and they didn't, their situation was a little bit different, or maybe they didn't put in as much energy as you did, and it didn't work for them. So we know that people are different. But I would encourage you, if you recently got one, and we got a whole bunch of people that got them, and we told you turn those into us so we can post them up for people. But don't be greedy. Don't be greedy. Share that. So I just walked down. If you have a case coming, don't deny. Get you an affirmative defense. We can help you with that. I walked down. If you have a default judgment, or if you have a judgment, that we can help you get that reopened, or you can go and get that reopened. All you have to do is look at the specific reasons on why they gave that default, gave that judgment period, and look at your laws and see if there's something that you could do to counteract that. That's really what you got to do. Every situation is different. Every judge is going to, judges are going to rule in favor of the debt collection company for a number of reasons. And all you have to do is research and turn those reasons around, and you'll usually get that judgment turned around. We see that a lot. Next phase, though, is if you are in a situation where you just need to get this stuff settled. We have clients that have came to us and they said that I cannot see myself going into court. Can you just get this settled? And that is an option. We've even had clients that were being sued by the original creditor, and we're like, hey, I think that your money would be well spent on approaching the original creditor for a deal, so you could just hold it off. If you got a lump sum, make that lump sum payment. Some of the times they'll do a lump sum payment and they'll break it up into months. Some of the times they just want one lump sum payment. Some of the times they're not going to budge, and they just want to try to get payments. They want to get payments unless you had a lump sum. This comes down to, you got to determine what your goals are, what your temperament as an individual is. Do you want to go into court? Do you want to walk into court? If you don't want to walk into court, represent yourself. If you don't want to have the expense of having a lawyer go into court with you to represent you, and if you look at really the decision, this is how you can make those decisions very easy. Is that, number one, look at what your personal goals are, because your personal goals are going to be different than anyone. And if your personal goal is to just get this done and over with, and if you're looking at what the case is entailing, if this is something that you personally feel that you don't want to go into court and fight, that you'd rather try to settle it, that should be an option that's on the table. That's your option. That's your power of what you want to have done. And I've had clients come to me and they say, I do not want to go through this stuff in court, and I just want to settle it. And that is what that client wants. Don't listen to other people to tell you what you need to do. Listen to what you feel you need to do, and then those decisions need to be made according to what you feel, because what you feel is what you're going to follow through on. So what I do with my clients is we have a conversation, and we listen to them, and if they're saying, I don't want to do this, this, and this, and this, and that means if you don't want to go through going to court, I don't want to go through sitting across from the judge, sitting across from the plaintiff attorney, I don't want to go through with that, then you can't come back and say, I don't want to pay it. I don't want to deal with it. I don't want to have a judgment against me, because those two worlds don't exist. So I'm going to repeat that. If you are the type of individual who does not want to go to court, does not want to see yourself in front of the judge, does not want to see yourself across from the plaintiff attorney, does not want to see yourself having to speak up in court about this debt that you had, because that's what you're going to have to do. Even if you had a response written for you, that's what you're going to have to do. If you can see yourself doing that, fine, move forward. All I'm doing is giving clarity. If you can't see yourself doing that, you cannot have that mindset, that feeling, that part of what you're willing to do, and then say, on the other hand, I don't want them to sue me. I don't want them to get a judgment. I don't want them to do all of that, because those two worlds don't exist together. So if you don't want to see yourself in court, then you have to contact the plaintiff attorney and work out a deal. If you see yourself going into court, roll it up all the way, because then you can still do a deal in the end. But you have to respond to that summons. You could lose by not responding to the court summons because you're not doing what the court asks you to do. So, again, you're going to show up to court and not respond to the court summons. The world of not responding to the court summons and going into court and expecting that nothing is going to happen to get a judgment against you, that world does not exist. We have people that will say, I'm not going to respond. If you don't respond, you got a judgment. If you don't respond, you're going to have a judgment. They will post your name in a newspaper, and and soon it is there, because newspapers are going away. They're going to post your name on an online publication, and your name is going to be there, and you type it in. What I want you to do right now, so you can see that this is true. If you have a debt collector lawsuit or a lawsuit against you, type in your name and type in that company. So you'll put your name versus, here's one I got here, Calvary SPV 1 LLC. Type that in, and you will see that your name will pop up with that debt collector lawsuit. So it's already being published online. So there is no running from it. It's just that you're going to have to deal with the consequences of what you end up allowing to happen because you don't respond to it. So if you have a debt collector lawsuit, let us review it for you. We will be honest upfront about what we can and can't do. We will be honest and upfront about what we see with what they presented to you as the evidence against you, the allegations against you. So there's going to be exhibits, which is considered evidence against you. There's going to be allegations, which is the 1, 2, 3s of what they put in the court summons against you. And from looking at that, we can let you know if you have a good chance. You always have a chance, but we will let you know what your chances are. We're going to be upfront and honest. I think that that's one of the things that people, we always want certainty. We always want certainty. And this is going to go full circle to back what I said about what my wife and I were going through from 1994 to 1999. Is that some of the times you don't know, and I know you're reaching out, like you're watching this video intensely, especially if you have a lawsuit, you are intensely looking at the way that I'm moving, the words that I'm using, everything, because you're trying to find some type of certainty that you will have with what you're dealing with. And like an end result certainty. And I wish that I could give that to you, but I'm not going to be one of the people that's going to say that I guarantee the outcome. What I will guarantee is that if you step-by-step response, like what my wife and I did in 1994 to 1999, just kept pushing through, did this, everything that we had to do to get ourselves out of debt, get ourselves settlements and lawsuits. Same thing is what you need to do, get the process going. The difference, I guess the difference between what my wife and I had back then, and what you would have now dealing with my company is that you have someone who has experienced it on the level of going through it, and someone who has experienced it with being able to help clients get through it. And I think that that is very important, to have the feelings of both sides, because sometimes you could deal with people and you'd be like, I don't think you understand what I'm feeling. You could deal with a company, an attorney, you could deal with people and they're like, you just not understanding what I feel through this. I know what you feel. I know how it feels to have them send those letters and knock on your doors and put the summons at your doorstep. I know how it feels to have to be there and across from a judge, across from a plaintiff attorney, and go through this. I know what it feels like. And I know that one of the best things that I wish I would have had back then is if someone would have just wrote down and responded to what their allegations was, that I would have been 100 miles ahead of what I was going through back at that time. And so also what they're doing with this National Conference of State Legislators, what they want to do is they want to make it to where it'll be plain English, to where you can say, hey, I do not believe that this debt collector can collect on this debt because they did not give a contract with my signature on there. You know that the way that the court wants you to respond to that is not that they want you to write that out, and you could look at that and you're asking for that in your court response, and you're like, they're using different terms on what they want people to say in there, like latches. You know, they want you to use these terms. And it's like, I'm not an attorney, so why would I use that? I don't even know what that term means. And then you're in there arguing over what that term means, and you're not an attorney, and you're like, I'm mixed up. I don't even want to go through this. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to change it to where you could just use plain English, which is what we've told people to do and what we've done for people, plain English. And you get in front of the judge and you're like, this is what my argument is. And because you are not an attorney, the judge will allow it, and they will say, well, what is that? You know, tell the plaintiff attorney, this is what they're saying you did not provide. Could you please provide that information? And then the plaintiff attorney is looking at that and they're like, oh, I thought we did provide that. We need to get more time. And then all of a sudden they dismiss the case, or they try to put the case out for like a year, hoping that you'll forget when that court hearing comes up, and then they'll get that default judgment. So I'll end the video here. If you need help with a debt collector lawsuit, there's a link below this video. You can see the cases that have been dismissed. We could help you with original creditor cases. We could help you with debt collector cases. We could help you with default judgment cases. We could help you with cases where you just have a judgment put against you. We will look at it and tell you up front on all of those if we, what we believe we could help you with. When you go to the website, the link below, there's going to be a live chat that pops up. Put your information in there, upload the documents that you have. We'll review it and then let you know how we can help you. If you need help with your credit, please visit us at thecreditrepairshop.com. Watch the video, What Makes Us Different, so you can see my 8-point validation process, my 2-phase settlement process. That's the way that we repair credit. And as a matter of fact, seeing some videos out there where people are saying you should also attack, when you're doing credit repair, you should utilize your options with the bureaus and also with the furnishers. You could look on my YouTube channel, look for a video, What Makes Us Different. I made that video in 2013. So companies, I guess they're coming around to the way that credit repair should be done. Because if you do credit repair the right way, the debt collectors who have came after you for a debt, Not just wiping it out on the credit reports, but getting them to acknowledge that they're not going to come after you for that debt. Or to being upfront saying, hey, we think we have enough to go after this individual for that debt. So it could come off the credit reports and then they still come after you. Are those companies there to help you? Those companies are not there to help you. We are there to help our clients if something like that happens. So watch the video, What Makes Us Different. Link is below here, thecreditrepairshop.com. Watch the video, What Makes Us Different. You will see that I talked about that years ago. If you need your credit reports and scores, everything starts with your credit reports and scores. You want to repair your credit because you're looking at your scores. The reason why your scores are bad is because you got issues with your credit. If you don't know what's on your credit reports, you need to get complete credit reports. The free ones do not give you complete credit reports. The free ones try to get you to get other credit so you can end up getting yourself into a worse situation. Get your complete credit reports and all 3 scores. Link is below this video. If you have debt collectors coming after you early in the game, grab my statute of limitations letter for debt that is past the legal statute of limitations to collect. Debt validation is cease and desist collection activities letter. You can make a lot of this stuff go away early if you answer them the right way. You can make a lot of stuff go away quick. I do ask for a donation on those. I think that is worthy because if those letters, any of those 3 letters can make debt collections go away, it can literally save you hundreds, if not thousands of dollars. People have sent their testimonials on just using those 3 free letters. Please subscribe to the channel, post your questions and comments. Thank you for your time. This is Stephen A. Williams, President and Founder of thecreditrepairshop.com.